Douglas MacArthur considered Milwaukee his ancestral home. His grandfather, Arthur MacArthur Sr., who was born in Glasgow, Scotland, was the first to come to Milwaukee in 1849. As a young attorney, he immediately became involved in local and state politics, serving as Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin from 1855 to 1857, and after a contested election, served as governor for 5 days in March 1856. In 1857, Arthur MacArthur was elected a circuit court judge, holding court in the old Milwaukee County Courthouse, which stood in present-day Cathedral Square. In 1870, Judge MacArthur was appointed an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the District of Columbia.
Judge MacArthur's son, Arthur MacArthur Jr., grew up among families of prominence in Milwaukee. After the Civil War began, young Arthur was anxious to serve in the Union Army, and Judge MacArthur used his political influence to obtain a lieutenant's commission for his son, who was appointed adjutant of the new 24th Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiment recruited in Milwaukee. Lieutenant MacArthur made history at the Battle of Missionary Ridge when, under heavy fire, he seized the fallen 24th Wisconsin banner and led his regiment up the slope shouting, "On Wisconsin!" a slogan that continues to echo through multiple generations as the fight song of the University of Wisconsin. In addition to being awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery in that battle, Lieutenant MacArthur was later severely wounded in the Battle of Franklin. Arthur MacArthur Jr. went on to serve with distinction in the U.S. Army for the remainder of his career, including postings at various forts in Indian Territory in the West, and later promotion to Brigadier General, commanding a brigade in the battles of Manila in the Spanish-American War and the Philippine-American War, before being named Military Governor of the Philippines and finally serving as military attaché to the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. He and his wife, Mary Pinckney Hardy MacArthur, had 2 surviving sons, Arthur III, who graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1892, and Douglas, who graduated from the U.S. Military Academy in 1903.
While his father's military duties took him away from Wisconsin, Douglas MacArthur and his mother lived in the Plankington House Hotel in Milwaukee from 1897 to 1899, while he studied for the West Point entrance examinations at West Side High School. Douglas received his appointment to West Point from Milwaukee Congressman Theobald Otchin in 1899. Upon graduation, Douglas ranked number 1 in his class and was commissioned as second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. In 1905, General Arthur MacArthur took his son Douglas as his aide on a fact-gathering trip throughout the Far East. The trip introduced young Douglas to the Orient, Asian history and culture, which he later effectively used during the War in the Pacific, the post-war occupation of Japan, and the Korean War.
On September 5, 1912, the retired General Arthur MacArthur Jr. was the guest speaker for the 50th reunion of the 24th Wisconsin Regiment. The general rose to address his old comrades and spoke of the sacrifices, hardships, and joys they experienced as veterans of the Civil War. Suddenly, he clutched at his heart, slumped down in his chair, closed his eyes, and died. Heartbroken, the surviving veterans of the 24th Wisconsin bowed their heads and recited the Lord's Prayer. Then they draped the body of Arthur with the same soiled and torn flag that he carried up Missionary Ridge. Douglas MacArthur greatly revered the memories of his famous father. He maintained the family tradition of highly decorated military service over his 52-year career. On several occasions, Douglas MacArthur mentioned his family connection to Milwaukee, hinting he might retire here. However, the general returned to the city only one more time. On April 27, 1951, after he was relieved of command in Korea by President Truman, he visited Milwaukee and was greeted by huge crowds lining the route of his motorcade. He spoke at the dedication of MacArthur Square and was awarded an honorary Doctor of Laws degree by Marquette University.
Milwaukee honored General MacArthur 15 years after his death by hosting the first MacArthur Memorial Week from June 8th to 14th, 1979. The events included the unveiling of the general statue by his widow, Jean Faircloth MacArthur, at the dedication ceremony in MacArthur Square, and the unveiling of the exhibit, The MacArthurs of Milwaukee, at the Milwaukee County Historical Society. In 1984, Mrs. MacArthur sent a limited edition of Douglas MacArthur's book, Reminiscences, to Charles C. Mulcahy, chairman of the War Memorial Center, president of the Milwaukee County Historical Society, and a member of the MacArthur Memorial Week Steering Committee, with the inscription, "In deep appreciation for all you have done to memorialize my general and the MacArthurs in Milwaukee."